Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be doing a review of some tracks by an act named Tash Hagz. It's a very interesting name. If we switch over to here, we're going to be going through a few different websites because we've got a couple of music videos, we've got a couple of tracks, including an unreleased one at the time of me doing this review video. The first of these tracks is Images of Imogen, and there's 4 songs, so we're going to listen through each of them from start till finish and hear what we think. Let's go. We'll go right back to the start. Oh, I got a harpsichord there. Nice. Bit of a filter. Oh. He's got a really interesting texture to his voice, doesn't he, Tash Hagz? That bass line is pretty succinct as well. I like how it accompanies the harpsichord. All right, we've got like a synth sort of filter in the background and some drums as well. Cool. We're playing around with sort of musical expectations here. We're not just relying on the straight major or minor scales. We're working with some chromatic tonalities and sort of, not your typical chord progression, not your typical kind of way that you create these harmonies. He's really just morphing and twisting it to suit his sort of preferences, and I dig that. Does nothing for your soul. I'm liking the backing vocals coming now as well. This is actually really interesting to listen to. There's so many different musical elements here, a few different ingredients to the mix. And that careful additional layering over the chorus of the song has meant that it's continued to sound sort of fresh. Yeah, Joseph. Oh, that gets very dark there, doesn't it? That's a little bit unsettling, especially with the imagery in the music video. Images of Imogen will make them blind. Oh, that doesn't sound like a particularly good situation at all, really. Wow, actually, I'm actually very happy with this. This is a very competent vocal performance. These additional backing vocals on the sides couple well with the main focal point of the lead melody, and you've just got to. It's very big sounding production. I know it's potentially a very basic thing to say, but what I mean is there's been just a sense of wholeness throughout this whole experience with this song, and part of that comes down to the mixing and mastering, but also it's the careful choice of which instruments you use and how you get them to sort of interact with each other. Hey, a bass solo. Excellent. Great. That's fantastic. This is exactly what we needed. I cannot tell you how long I've waited for there to be a bass solo in these reviews. You get guitar solos, and I've heard a lot of guitar solos, and it's just a shame because the bass could do more than just play the root notes of the chords. You know what I mean? Oh.
Images of Imogen seep through my mind.
Ooh.
Images of Imogen will make me blind.
There's a lot of a sense of suffering from the vocal performance. Like Tash Hagz is having a horrendous time with this Imogen, this person, with these photos and everything like that. These are really interesting legato passages in the vocals. There are a lovely coloration to it. Instrumentally, we've got the guitars playing chords and holding for whole notes, and we've got the bass guitar a little more laid back now than the solo section, and the drums like an eighth note groove. Hold your mind. That's a really slick little passage there, and it indicates that we've maybe got a really good understanding of how to sort of perform vocally, but we're holding back so as not to make this an ego project. It's just a really well-written song, I've got to say. I've got a lot of love for that. I'm wondering if there's lyrics here just to confirm a few different points of the story. Oh, we've got like a story behind the song here. A beautiful, haunting I'll make myself big. I don't know about you, but I guess I'm a bit different from most people. Well, different from most people who go to art galleries and museums. I'll happily plod through the deepest puddles, drag myself up the steepest hills through blistering wind and rain to visit any old art gallery or museum as long as it has a new picture exhibition. I'm only interested in the picture frames. The frame can tell the story of the picture. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. The thing that contains the initial focal point is something that can really help you to understand the original sort of center of attention a bit better. In my view, a picture without a frame is a house that isn't a home. So like what I could take from this potentially as a hint into what the song is about. Basically, maybe Imogen is like someone who Tash Hagz. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? There is actually a sing-along version of this. So if I make myself small again, here we go. Okay, so we can't get them to laugh with the sense of humor that you have. Oh, I understand why the song gets a little bit darker here. It's because there's a bit of sadness. Things have changed and it's not quite the passion it used to be. Okay. Better left unsaid, alright. And where are we going in that next stance, part of the stanza? Because that's where we'll probably get a bit of... I love how we sort of resolved to a major tonality there. It's really interesting, as if it was better left dead, like that's where we needed to be. We shouldn't have let it sort of decay for so long. So I'm assuming this is about a relationship that like initially ran very, very well and eventually just completely just went to crap. That's my understanding of it. Or there was some sort of situation which started nicely and then it ended up getting worse and worse over time. And it was irreparable, and this is a story being told in retrospect. It's a great song. I love the different instruments and how they interact with each other. I liked the overall tone of the song was one of warmth, but also it was bittersweet and sad. There was a sadness to it, like a regret for what occurred. Yeah, very well mixed and mastered. The recordings, I'm loving the acoustic drums and everything else involved. I think that's the best way to treat this sort of genre of music. Using sort of drum samples just wouldn't have the same effect. And yeah, again, the vocals were fantastic. Very interesting vocal texture. I'm looking to hear more of it over the next couple of songs. So this next song is titled "Dependent on the Spotify. Tash Hagz has. We've got an original alt rock song. A young man has a hedonistic lifestyle whilst working in a lingerie shop. Awesome. Oh damn, we're right into it. We are not. We are. Wow, there's so much going on immediately. The it's frenetic, but I dig it. There's no intro core with this, which I really appreciate. I think that's a really great move. Smart. Okay, cool. We've got an interesting kind of wavering to the vocals. I'm wondering if that's an effect or something like that. The bass, guitar, and drums are fairly punchy at this point. There's some very sort of subtle backing vocals there. I had a blister on my finger when he got from telling lies. Wow, okay. All right, where are we going with this track? This is interesting. There's just so much going on that initially took me by surprise. I was like, whoa. That's kind of the experience you want with a song. You don't want to be underwhelmed to be like, oh, there's nothing happening. And I'm liking how we're not just working with the typical 4-bar structure for these. We're holding on for an extra bar at the end before another section. We're not afraid to let the vocals sit. We're not rushing to get to the next destination. I've got a lot of respect for that. And that's interesting. What a call and response there as well, which is really nice. You got these kind of catchy hooks and these sort of semi-prog, alt rock kind of verse sections and bridges. And it kind of reminds me of sort of compositions from the 70s and the 80s where you wouldn't just be boxed into those 4 bars. You would let sort of sections hang a little bit because you had the time when you weren't trying to rush. Do we have like a synth or like a wow, 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 wow? I don't know what that instrument is. It's kind of messing me with it a little bit. It annoys me when I don't instantly know what instrument is involved, but like there are just so many instruments nowadays at the same time that it's like, how could you possibly? Oh, okay. Tried to strangle each other and then we went to a fashion parade. Wow. That's a crazy story that's being told here.
She said that she was really loving me, and then she told me she was always charade. Now I had decided to get another job, but she tied me to the floor. Now I got a job as a doormat inside a lingerie store, and she.
You got some blues elements for the way this is structured. You kind of go back to the bum 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 bum, some kind of bluesy rocky elements from the 70s, and I adore this kind of songwriting and composition mixed in with like more modern production elements and effects. Yeah, slapback delay on the vocals as well, which is kind of dope.
And she really put me down. She made me run around the city in her CD dressing gown. She cried, I don't want to see like through my life. I'm depending on. I'm depending on. I'm depending on.
And we're understanding exactly how to set up a hook line and get it to stick in your head. There's just this repetition of it with the consistency and the groove and the rhythm of the different elements of the mix. I love that. I think this is quite well considered and it shows experience. And this experience is really important when you're releasing singles and sort of growing yourself as a professional musician because you need people to know that whenever they listen to you, they're going to have a good time. A bump, a bump, a bump, a bump, bump. There's all this variation as well in these vocal melodies, and there's clear an understanding of music theory and I gotta also say that the video editing in this is top notch. I'm loving the green screen stuff and everyone appearing in the band and playing their instruments and stuff. It's good fun. Like, because that's the thing. The thing to remember about Tash Hagz is that they're a one-man project for the most part, as I understand it. And that's a phenomenal effort. It's not an easy thing to produce, to write your parts on one instrument for an album, let alone, like, or for a song. I mean, let alone, you know, all the different parts. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to be able to do that. Lots of respect for that. Champagne and magic mushrooms, dude. That sounds like a hell of a time, dude. It sounds like Tash Hagz has some incredible stories to tell, and I look forward to hearing more of what they do in the future. And back to that hook. Cool. It sounds like those secondary dependons are like a little bit quiet in the mix, but that's okay. That could be like a purposeful thing. Is it kind of like you have to listen really, really carefully to it or something like that? I'm repeating that vocal melody perfect. And just finishing like that. Damn, sweet. Awesome. I haven't really spoken much about the lyrics in this part. Primarily because I know that we have the lyrics down here. We also have all instruments performed by Tash Hagz and Idan Altman. Music producer and mixer on this track, Idan Altman. Fantastic. Excellent. It's great. It's good to have a producer on board to help out, just to get a third person sort of perspective on it. Do you know what I mean? I now got a job in a lingerie shop. I don't think it'll last long. She's the type that likes to chew jelly. I get a headache from her size. Chew jelly. Oh, I get that. That's a clever line. That is a very clever line. I like that a lot. The concept there of that sort of like juxtaposition. She's like a trickster or a fraudster. What you see and what you get. She's quite a guy. I don't know why she sees right through my lies. Whiskey, woman, wine, and weekends. Water. Ah, I get it. I get it. Cool. So that's what he's dependent on. So like he just lives a really exciting life. And there's this woman that's kind of like a foil to him. And she said that she was really loving me. And then she told me she was all a charade. Oh, now I got a job as a doormat inside a lingerie store. She's a frostbitten lady and she really puts me down. She makes me run around a city in a see-through dressing gown. Damn, man. Oh, wow. This sounds... And now if I had the freedom, I'd try to escape, but I just run back for more. Her champagne, weird customs, and her magic mushrooms make me want to scream for more. Wow. Wow, this is a hell of a story. It's excellent. It's excellent. I dig that. I lie and she whips me, man. It happens all the time. So this is kind of like this is one of those relationships where like, yeah, on the outside it might appear like it's a pretty sort of terrible situation, but for the people involved, it's I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like fun, but it also sounds like hell. But that's dependent on, I mean. We've got Mankind and Destiny, a lyric video for this. So let's have a listen through this one. Okay. He's kind of plotty, kind of I can't like fault Tash Hagz' ability to find interesting sounding instruments and sort of layer them, slap them in a song at the start and really get your attention. Alright. And what I like as well is the thought behind this. It's one thing just to have a lyric video, but to have a karaoke video, that's clever. I like that. Again, those call and answer vocals going into the next section with a cymbal shimmer. Just these little touches show me that we really know what we're doing.
Don't know why, don't know how, I don't know when.
Oh, okay. We've got those lady vocals on top. It's a fascinating song. It's got a playful kind of tonality to it, but there's also some really deep underlying themes that are being discussed. Is that a xylophone or something like that? Or like a Caribbean drum or something like that? Like a marimba. Marimba, right? Which kind of rolls with the Flying to Paradise thing, right? And like, there's always different subtle elements in the mix, like the arpeggiated guitar on the right side that I can hear sometimes. When I can hear it, it's doing something fun, you know? So we're not sure why things are the way they are or why they're happening. Chemistry, mankind, and destiny. That's a fun thought, isn't it? That's a fun thing to think about. You know, life being no surprise is literally just the components of what it's made out of, and the results are a product of that. When you think about it, that makes a lot more sense than there being a sense of grandiose sense of wonder. Oh, got a synthy kind of solo. I dig that. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 8th note groove on this entire vibe to it. There's just so much going on here. I don't know what to pay attention to in particular as a lead element. Is this meant to represent the confusion about these different concepts already discussed within the song? Oh, okay. It's nice to have the instruments fade out for a part, so we can focus on an important line of the song. Oh, that's a lovely chord to finish on there. I like that. Dig it. Oh, guitar solo. There is a lot going on this part. There is a change of the vibe to this though, I appreciate it. Nice little drum fill. A neoclassical vibe to this. I dig it with the organs. And back to the hook. More vocal layers in his outro chorus. Cool, cool, cool. Well done. It's truly some of the most unique music I've listened to throughout these reviews. It's very different than a lot of the contemporary stuff I listen to. Even some of the alt rock that I listen to and the prog stuff. But it's fun. I think that's the most important part about this, is that this music is fun. Even when it discusses really intense topics, it never loses its sense of humility, and it always tries to present itself in a way that's sort of palatable and approachable for the listener. And I have a lot of respect to Tash Hagz for doing that. So well done. And yeah, this video is about Mankind and Destiny karaoke. Excellent. Fantastic. So that's 3 tracks. Now, we actually have the pleasure of looking at this, the Ballad of Sanalay, Tash Hagz. This is an unreleased track, so I'm very excited for this. We're gonna listen to this track from start to finish, and we're gonna hear what we think. Let's go. Let's do this. Oh, sorry, I think I broke it. A hurdy-gurdy psychedelic trip of acoustic loveliness that grows into a gentle beast of prog rock grooviness before climaxing in a rather stylish finale. I love the confidence of the album art here. Though, to be fair to Tash Hagz, I think I had a moment then thinking, was I saying hashtags this whole time or Tash Hagz? I think I've been saying Tash Hagz this whole time. I love that confidence from Tash Hagz, though. It's fantastic. That is a very unusual tonality that I'm not quite used to in music. There's a lot of discord and distorted sort of textures within this introduction. Guitar! Wipe the fears from your conscience, wipe the tears from your eyes. There's a little, like, don't get me wrong, I think the production in the last few tracks was good. There's a little bit more polish in this one. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, the drums are a bit tighter. It's a charming song, this one. A song that's easy to play. The irony is that playing all the different parts of this track would actually be kind of difficult. Was that the wind that is you? Interesting. I like this. I like this track quite a lot. Yeah, there's a bit more. There's a little bit more balance to this production. Again, the previous tracks weren't bad. I quite like them, but this is sounding like This is just sounding like it's as good as it can be, and I have a lot of love for that. And I'm liking, again, we're developing it with these sort of vocal overdubs and the double tracking. And you have these solo instruments that come in later on that are stunning. They really emphasize that play part. And I like how we don't just go straight into the verse in the four bar sections either. We hold off on that, sticking to previous sort of stylistic songwriting choices. Yeah, we're going to a triplet groove. Sick. Go. Where are we going next? It's very, very loud, though. It's very, very loud. Christmas. I'm gonna level with you. There's quite a bit going on here, and I'm not quite sure what to follow. Like there was a riser synth or something like that, like a phase or a flanger there. We had the guitar solo coming in the vocals. Okay, we're finishing on that. Wow, that was a hell of an effort. Like, well done to Tash Hagz for that. I turned my camera on. You know, I don't really have any massive complaints about this track. I think it's got a lot of promise. I was listening very intently to the lyrics there, and I heard parts of it. I don't quite think I heard the whole story, and I'll have another listen through the verse again just to see what I can catch, but I'm not sure if that's just me not necessarily understanding all the words and stuff, or because I don't quite know what this track is about. I heard key phrases, but I didn't quite understand everything, and I was genuinely trying my best to understand it. I think that there's so much going on sometimes that, like, as a reviewer, I want to take it all in at once, and I think that's the beauty. And we talk about having climaxing. Yeah, that's when you bring all those elements and you increase the intensity, and it sort of becomes overwhelming. I totally get it. That's a completely fine thing to do in a song. But it got to a point where I didn't really know what to listen to in particular, and it's okay though. I think that stylistically, for the purpose that we're identifying today for the song, I think this was a well-written track. I'll just have a listen to the verse and I'll just be right back. Yeah, so after listening to the verse again by itself, I understood we were talking about someone wanting for help and trying to sort of support them and show them love and wipe the tears from their eyes and everything like that. That's my take of that. It's just that took a second listen. So for me, this song has replay value. You can enjoy the musical experience and then listen again to catch the entire story once you sort of like you're sort of semi-familiar with it. I think that's a good thing, because if you give if you give everything to someone on the first listen, it can sometimes be like, oh, I've heard it once, it was a song, and move on. The only risk there is if you get listeners who are impatient, they may be like, oh, why can't I hear everything at once? Why is this overwhelming? And that's just a stylistic preference. Now, we talk about psychedelic trip. It's kind of in that field, this is kind of what the experience is meant to be like, it's meant to be sort of trippy and distorted and unusual and strange and a little bit kind of weird, but that's okay. That's the fun part about it. Music doesn't need to be sterilized and pristine and perfect. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be. I think Tash Hagz is on something here with the Ballad of Sanalei, and I really wish them the best luck in future, but effectively this is my review of various tracks by Tash Hagz. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you did, please do go show Tash Hagz some love via their various social medias and SoundCloud page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever. With all the crazy stuff going on in the world, catch your next review. Spider hands out.